What's good, YouTube? It's Justice, I used to be paid, and today I'm back with another video, and I just want to tell y'all real quick, I appreciate all the love and support on my previous videos. This channel is really going up, but today I'm going to be talking about NBA Youngboy, one of the most interesting and intriguing artists of this generation, really. And I'm going to be talking about two things that I specifically really want to see him do. Like, if I was somebody in Youngboy's corner, if I was Youngboy's manager, this is the plan, this is the path that I would have him on. Now, I know it's going to sound kind of crazy, especially to diehard Youngboy fans. They're probably going to be mad at me for saying this, but I would make Youngboy wait maybe a year to a year and a half before his next project. Now, just hear me out, Youngboy fans, before you get your knives and your spears. Just hear me out. Youngboy has been dropping so much music, like literally 12 projects in the last like 14 months or something ridiculous like that, like just an insane amount of projects. And I think personally, and I think a lot of people can agree with this, it has kind of diluted his music, and it's also kind of created a sense of burnout, especially for casual fans. Now, obviously, the diehard Youngboy fans are going to listen to every single Youngboy project regardless of what's going on, but the casual fan has been kind of burnt out by Youngboy. Like, they're kind of tired of Youngboy, just being honest, just because he's dropping so much. Like, every 3 weeks, there's a Youngboy project being announced or a Youngboy project out. So there's just been so much music that for somebody who's a fair weather fan of Youngboy, they're not going to listen to every single project, bro. They'll listen if it's one project a year or maybe two, but if you drop 8 in a year, a casual fan's not going to listen to all 8. Like, that's just not what's going to happen. So I think he needs to slow down on the releases. And also, I believe the quality of his releases has kind of dipped as he's began to just drop a whole bunch of music. Now, not to say that all of the projects have been bad. There have been some pretty solid ones like Don't Try This at Home and even Richest Op, which just came out. I think they're very solid projects, but they're not the quality of music that Youngboy could really make. Youngboy is really one of the best rappers of this generation, in my opinion. I really believe that. I think he is probably top 10, top 5 of this generation, and he can make some really great music if he takes his time and really puts his mind to it. I think he could make projects the same caliber as AI Youngboy 2, Top, and others if he really just kind of chilled on the releases and really just focused on one project for an extremely long amount of time and then finally drop it instead of dropping a project and another one and another one. Just based off the numbers, the quality is gonna kind of drop because you're making so much music and every single song isn't going to be super masterfully curated because you're dropping a project every 2 weeks. So you have to put 15 to 30 songs on a project, knowing Youngboy, which he will put 30 songs on a project. You have to put a lot of songs on a project, so it just makes the overall quality a little bit worse because you haven't had the time to really give every song your full effort. Now, I'm making him wait a year and a half or maybe even a little longer because of those reasons, because I want the project to be really, really good, and I want the casual fans to listen to the project, but also because I believe he will be off house arrest by that time. Now, obviously, I'm not a lawyer. I don't really know what's going on in the legal case, but from the looks of everything, I feel like he is going to beat that gun case that he's facing in Louisiana as of right now. So maybe in a year and a half, he finally gets off house arrest, and that's when we drop the album. Now, also, maybe he gets off house arrest in like 4 months, 5 months. If he gets off house arrest before a year passes between the previous project and the one that he's going to drop after, I think that he should still wait. Even if he gets off house arrest, still wait at least a year and a half to drop this project. But I want that time frame because not only does it give time for fans to want your music, to really have that want and need, like, oh my God, what's Youngboy doing? He never takes this long. Not only does it build anticipation, but it also gives you time to figure out the legal stuff and also create hype because when it comes to rap, let's just be honest, legal stuff is a really big promo. Like, if you beat a case, that's huge promo. Even if you're still in jail, that's huge promo. Like, just being involved with the legal system is pretty big promo for a lot of artists, and we've seen it with Youngboy. Youngboy's highest selling album, or at least first week wise, Sincerely Control, was while he was in jail. So it's not like this is anything rare to Youngboy, but when it comes to something legal happening, that's a big thing, and we can take advantage of that. Oh my God, Youngboy's coming home. What's going to happen? What's he doing? Why is he taking so long to drop? What's this album going to sound like now that he's home? Like, that can be a huge part of the marketing ploy, and I think it would create a lot of hype. And I think it would allow Youngboy to sell a lot of numbers. Now, if you look at Youngboy's last couple of projects, they haven't been doing too hot in terms of numbers, but mostly just because he's dropping so much. Don't Try This at Home sold about 61K. Richest Op sold about around like 51 or something like that. And then I Rest My Case, which he dropped at the very beginning of the year, did like 29. So the numbers haven't been anything crazy for Youngboy. Obviously, he still does numbers on YouTube, but in terms of album sales, they haven't really been too fantastic. But again, he's dropping like every 3 weeks, so it makes sense that people aren't just clamoring for new Youngboy music because they literally just got some. And Youngboy's biggest first week sales was 137K with Sincerely Control, and then also his other project, which is a really big project, The Last Limito, did like 110. So when Youngboy has a really big album, he still does great numbers. But Youngboy is in a spot where he's an artist that's so big, he should sell over 100K every time he drops. Now, obviously, you're not going to be able to do that if you drop every 3 weeks, but let's say Youngboy dropped once or twice a year. He's a big enough artist to where he should hypothetically be selling over 100K every time. I think he could even get to 150 if he took a big enough break. Like, Youngboy's in that kind of Gunna, Young Thug, Lil Baby, even Dirk kind of range of like size when it comes to an artist. Not super crazy, super selling 300K like a Drake, but selling over 100 pretty much every time they drop. So he's kind of in that range, but he doesn't have the same first week numbers as those guys do consistently because he's dropping so often. Gunna takes time in between his projects. Lil Baby takes at least a year off. Dirk takes at least a year off. And you all kind of see that replicated in their numbers. But Youngboy, you don't see that because he drops so often. But if he did wait, it would sell easily over 100K. If he dropped once a year, easily over 100K. So we're going to wait a year in between whichever project because I know he's going to drop again by the time I probably put this video out. Whatever project he drops, we're going to wait a year from that project on, maybe a year and a half, maybe a little longer. And that project is probably going to end up selling over 170K, maybe around 170K, maybe a little less, maybe a little more. I guarantee you it would sell like close to 170 just because, again, Youngboy does not wait very long for his projects. A year's worth of waiting for a Youngboy project might have his fans going insane. They might be concerned about it. They might not even think he's alive at that point because Youngboy drops so consistently. So it would build a lot of hype. Why is this project taking so long? What's so special about this project? What is he doing? Why is it taking so long? And then let's say he gets off house arrest. He beats the case. Oh my God, Youngboy's home. We can't wait to hear what music he drops. But he hasn't dropped in a long time. What's this album going to sound like? This is his first album home. It's got to be super good. I can't wait to hear. Like, that's the type of stuff that people are going to be saying if we wait a long amount of time and then drop after the house arrest thing. Now, if he's on house arrest for another 2 or 3 years, or he actually ends up losing the case and goes to jail, of course, you can pretty much throw this video away because it's not going to mean much. But if he does end up beating the case, which I believe he will, and he gets off house arrest, he could make a really big splash with his next project if he takes his time, if he waits. That's the main part of this video. If he waits, because the anticipation would be crazy. Can you imagine how people would be talking about Youngboy? Y'all remember when he beat the Fed case? That was a huge story. But now he beats the case and he's supposed to be dropping a project, but he hasn't dropped in a year. And people are just sitting around going, wonder what's going on with Youngboy. Now, if we wait a year, now the casual fan's like, wait a minute, we haven't had a Youngboy project in a minute. I'm excited for this, actually. Like, I can't wait to see what Youngboy has to say. Now, that's how not only do you pull in the Youngboy fans to be even more invested than they already are, but you pull in the casual fans as well, because the casual fans are like, oh, okay, Youngboy, we haven't really heard much from you in a long time. That's kind of unfamiliar. What are you working on? What's going on there? And then you also add in, oh my gosh, Youngboy just got off house arrest. He just beat his case. He just left Utah. He can finally move around and do all types of stuff and just be outside. That's going to pull in so many more people, and it's just going to make the project even bigger. And I guarantee you, Youngboy would sell around 170, maybe even get to 200 if he really plays his cards right. I think that's a little far-fetched at the moment, but still, I think he could get to some really high first-week numbers if he followed this plan, waits at least a year between his last project and the next project, gets off house arrest, kind of stays quiet, lays low, and then drops the project, builds that anticipation, has people questioning, oh my God, what's he doing? Why is Youngboy? That would just really create a level of anticipation that really hasn't been there for a lot of Youngboy projects. Really, I don't know if it ever has really been there for a Youngboy project, the type of anticipation that I think this would build. And then the magical little cherry on top, you follow that album up with a tour. A Youngboy tour would be absolutely insane. Now, Youngboy hasn't been on tour since, like, I don't know when. He hasn't performed since 2019 because obviously the pandemic and then the legal cases. So it's been a long time without a Youngboy live performance. And this man has probably dropped about about 15, 16 projects since 2019. Like, he's dropped a lot of really good music that would sound really good in concert that people would be dying to hear because Youngboy hasn't performed in so long. And not only that, think of the amount of new fans NBA Youngboy has gotten since 2019. Like, he has grown massively as an artist. In 2020, he was probably the most hated rapper in the world. But now he's one of the most beloved. And, you know, people still hate on Youngboy, but the fan base has just grown so much that it would attract so many new people. And Youngboy could probably be doing like NBA arenas, no pun intended, like somewhere between like 16,000, 18,000 at the highest to like 6,000 at the lowest, maybe in like some smaller cities. But Youngboy would really be selling out these NBA sized arenas, in my opinion. I think he could do some really large venues, even if he doesn't want to. The concerts would be insane. Can you imagine an NBA Youngboy concert right now? His fans would be going feral for all. He could damn near perform for 4 hours because he has that much new music, and people would sit there for every last second. Like, if y'all remember the clips going around of like the Playboi Carti tour for A Whole Lotta Red, like those were some crazy clips. Youngboy fans would be going even crazier. Like, it would be ridiculous. I would love to go to a Youngboy show. I think Youngboy doing a tour would set hip hop on fire. I think it'd be one of the biggest tours of the last like decade. I think it really, really would be. I think people would be going crazy. All the shows would be crazy lit, sell out everywhere, $1 million gates in certain cities. Like, I think he would do crazy, crazy numbers. I might have been gassed it with $1 million gates, but who knows? So add on an album after a year's worth of anticipation. He gets off house arrest. Maybe he gets off house arrest in 6 months and waits another 6 months after. He doesn't really say much online, doesn't really do anything, doesn't really go live. Maybe puts out a couple tweets from some random account that he's on. And then he comes with the tour announcement alongside the album, because I think these need to go hand in hand. If you're going to drop an album after house arrest, you have to announce the tour the exact same time, because that would push. Now, that might be a situation where he goes to 200K first week. That might be gassing it, but still. Imagine if Youngboy, after a year of waiting, he hasn't dropped any music, he hasn't said that much online, maybe done a couple Instagram lives here and there. He hasn't said that much, hasn't done too much, hasn't put out any music. After a year, he gets off house arrest. People are wondering, whoa, what's Youngboy doing? What's Youngboy doing? He comes out with an announcement, maybe on the Never Broke Again Instagram, and he says, album's in 2 weeks. It's called Ops Can't Touch Me. I don't know what it would be. And we're also announcing the Ops Can't Touch Me tour all around North America. Get your tickets now. Those announcements hand in hand would blow up the internet. I promise you, it would blow up the internet. I'm not even trying to glaze Youngboy. It would quite literally blow up the internet. If he, in one fell swoop, after getting off house arrest, after waiting a year to drop a project, announces album, tour, here's the link, go get your tickets, go pre-sale the album, we're back. Oh my God, it would be the biggest thing to happen in hip hop since I don't know what. I really do believe this. Now, it's not going to sell, he's not going to do 400K first week like Drake or Kanye, but I promise you this would be huge, and I think it would be a really cool thing for Youngboy to do. I don't expect him to do it because Youngboy likes to drop music. It's kind of like his therapy, I guess. He kind of just spills out in the studio, but this would just be a really cool thing for Youngboy to do. And I know Youngboy fans don't want to wait a year and a half, but I promise you it would be a great project because Youngboy does put his foot in them projects, bro. Like, he really does. The big ones, the top, the AI Youngboy 2, the Sincerely Control, like, he puts his foot in those certain projects. And I think he would really do that if he took a year off, maybe 2 years, not 2 years, that's kind of a lot, but a year and a half off and came back. It would be one of the biggest things in hip hop after getting off house arrest and then going on tour with the fan base he's created since 2019. It would be incredible. But that's just my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Youngboy needs to drop every 2 weeks or something. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, but that's just my opinion. This is my page. I'm giving my opinion. But if you made it this far, I'd greatly appreciate if you left a like, a subscribe, did all that. It would help me out a ton. I'm trying to pay off this college tuition, bro. I don't even want to remind myself of it, but yeah, I appreciate you for making it this far. Please leave a like, leave a subscribe. If you watched this far, thank you so much. Have a great day. Have a blessed day. Be safe. I appreciate you, bro. I do. Peace.